All right, let's talk about something that drives a lot of us developers crazy, web scraping. We're going to dive into a really cool Go-powered architecture that aims to build a scraper that, well, just doesn't break. Let's jump right in.
So have you ever been here? I mean, you build this web scraper, you pour hours into it, it works perfectly, and then boom, the website changes one tiny little thing in its layout and the whole thing just falls apart. It's this never-ending cycle of fix, break, super frustrating, right? Okay, so let's put a name to this problem. The real issue here is that most scrapers are, frankly, just incredibly fragile. They're like a house of cards, you know? One little gust of wind, one tiny HTML change, and the whole thing comes crashing down.
And these are the things that really get under your skin, right? Your code is just so tightly glued to the website's HTML that any change means you're back to coding. Then there's the data itself. It's always a mess. You get prices as strings instead of numbers, which is just a headache later on. And to top it all off, if you're not super careful with your requests, you get blocked. It feels like a constant uphill battle.
But what if there's a better way? And there is. The whole solution we're looking at today is built around one central idea, a config-driven approach. It's all about decoupling the what from the how. We're separating what data we want from the actual code that goes and gets it.
Okay, and this right here is the big aha moment. Look at the old way on the left. That CSS selector. It's literally hard-coded into the program. If the website changes that H3 tag, you have to change the code and redeploy everything. But look at the new way. The code just points to a configuration file. So now, if the selector changes, you just edit a text file. That's it. The Go program itself doesn't change at all. It's kind of like a universal power adapter for websites.
So what's doing all this magic? It's a simple JSON configuration file. Seriously, just think of it as a treasure map for a specific website. It tells our main scraper program, hey, for this site, the product titles are over here, the prices are in this spot, and the link to the next page looks like this.
All right, so how does this whole thing actually work under the hood? It's actually a really elegant and simple design. It's all organized into a neat three-stage pipeline that takes raw, messy HTML and turns it into clean, beautiful data.
So here's the flow. Step 1, the scraper just scans the category pages to get a big list of all the products. Simple enough. Step 2, it then visits every single one of those product pages to grab all the detailed info. And finally, step 3, it takes all that raw, kind of messy data it just collected and cleans it all up, normalizing it into a nice, structured, predictable format. Each step has exactly one job, which is a fantastic design principle. Now, that second step is where the real secret to efficiency lies. Visiting each page one by one would be painfully slow, so instead, the scraper is smart about it. It fetches data from a bunch of pages all at the same time, concurrently. And to be specific, it's running 4 of these requests in parallel. But, and this is super important, it doesn't just hammer the server. There's a built-in delay of 800 milliseconds. This finds that perfect balance, right? It's fast, but it's also respectful, which means you're way less likely to get your IP address blocked.
So what about that third step, the clean and normalize part? What does that actually look like? Well, check this out. It takes something messy, like a price, that's a string with Persian digits and currency symbols, and turns it into a clean, simple number. It strips out HTML tags from the title. It's really the difference between getting a bag of raw ingredients and being served a finished plated meal.
Okay, so the theory sounds great, but does it actually work? This is where this whole config-driven idea really proves its worth. We're going to see how the exact same code can scrape 2 completely different websites.
Okay, so here's our treasure map for the first site, bottomjip.com. You can see it's just a list of CSS selectors. It tells the scraper that a product is inside a dov.product grid item and the title is in an h3.widgets entities title A. This is the unique blueprint for this specific site. And now, look at this. A totally different site, HassainiBrothers.ir. The selectors are completely different. The product item is a div JS product miniature. The title is something else entirely. But here's the most important part. The Go code behind the scenes, it didn't change, not one line. All that changed was this little JSON file.
In this quote from the original author just says it all perfectly. Supporting a new site takes minutes instead of days. That's the payoff. You're no longer doing a big coding project every time you add a new site. You're just doing a quick configuration task.
So, let's zoom out and wrap this up. What are the big wins here? What are the most powerful benefits we get from an elegant design like this?
Well, flexibility is without a doubt the #1 advantage here. It's huge. The ability to just point your scraper at a new site by writing a config file is a total game changer. And right behind that, you've got massive improvements in maintainability and performance.
So just to recap the big payoffs, we get that incredible flexibility we talked about. We get type safety, so we can actually do math with our prices without the program crashing. We get high performance that's also ethical, which is huge. The whole thing becomes so much easier to maintain and debug, and it's even got smarts built in, like handling different languages and numeral systems automatically. You see, what's been built here isn't just a scraper. That's the key takeaway. It's a scalable, production-ready data platform. It's a robust engine that you can point at almost anything and get clean, reliable data out of it.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. It doesn't matter if you're building a scraper or something totally different. The principles here, separating your config from your logic, building clean data pipelines, they apply almost everywhere. So what's one idea from this design that you could maybe use in your own projects?